Coach Forbes, you want to start with an opening statement, and then we'll open it up for questions.
Well, I want to thank everybody for being here today. Obviously, there's been a lot of news, a lot of great news, and so I'll try to go as fast as I can, even though it's probably hard for me to do that. First, I want to talk about Alondis Williams being the ACC Player of the Year. What an incredible achievement for him to be the Player of the Year and the greatest season for a transfer in the history of the league. It's an incredible thing to think about. Alondis was just the perfect fit for us. We needed him. He needed us. We needed each other, and it just really worked out. He and I are kind of kindred spirits. We have kind of the same background. I think our style of play was really tailored for him. He's got an infectious personality that rubbed off on our team. He's a little lighthearted, but he's got a really competitive edge to him. And so I was really excited for him. I know there was a lot of talk about that. And Armando Bacot had an unbelievable year. He's a tremendous player. I can understand all the notoriety and the votes that he received, but, really pleased and happy for Alondis. Jake LaRavia went from second team All Missouri Valley to second team All ACC. That's an unbelievable accomplishment in itself for him. Again, a perfect fit for us. He had something to prove. We had something to prove. Jake plays with a chip on his shoulder, and that's the way we've played this year. He pours a lot into the game, into the team. He's the best player. He's the hardest worker. And I don't mean that in any disrespect to Alondis, but I think Jake's our best all-around player. And when you have that and when he's your hardest worker, you got a great chance to have a really good team. He plays both ends of the court. And the only stat he really worries about is winning. The Coach of the Year award is a humbling accomplishment. It's not an individual award, guys. I've won these, before. It's a team. It's about the staff. It's about the program. It's just a reflection of all the hard work we've put in since we got the job, and it's been a lot. A lot of belief, a lot of resilience. I understand the historical significance of the award, and I'm honored, to be in the same list of Dean Smith, Roy Williams, Coach K, Everett Case, Vic Bubas. My friend Soupy Campbell was his assistant with Hubie Brown and Chuck Daly. Think about that staff. Golly. Bobby Cremens, Lefty Drizel, all those guys. I'm not in that category. I'm just honored to be on the list. And then, the Wake coaches that have won it, starting with, Murray Greason, and then Bones won it twice, and Dave Odom won it 3 times, and Skip won it once. It's just an honor to be, in that category. It's quite a journey for me coming from a Lone Tree, a little small town in Iowa. You've heard me say this before, gravel roads to tobacco road. It's, it's humbling. Getting a contract extension. Anytime, you're hired, the person who is hiring you basically is telling you that they believe in you. That's a powerful message to me. Okay. John Curry believes in me, and I believe in him. I was his number one choice, fellas, 2 years ago at this time, or a little bit later. And that means a lot to me. Loyalty is very big to me. I'm fortunate when it comes to these type of negotiations. Sorry about my beeping. I can't help it. Wake Forest approached me and my agent, and same thing happened to me at ETSU. I didn't have to go to them. They came to me. I trust my agent, Jason Charney, 1,000%. He handles all this stuff for me. I never lost 1 ounce of sleep about it. I knew John and my agent would get it done, and they did. And it wasn't commitment just to me. It was a commitment to my staff, my players, and the entire program. Our preparation has started for the game on Wednesday. We had an incredibly terrible practice today. As great mood as I'm in, I'm in a horrible mood coming off the practice court. It was not good, and I let them know it. And we practiced. We took Thursday off. We practiced Friday. We took Saturday off. We practiced last night and this morning. And we leave for Brooklyn this afternoon. We'll shoot Tuesday at the Barclays. We'll practice off site. Then we'll play on Wednesday. I mean, my experience in these things has always been right now is just back to the basics, working on the things you need to get better at to get ready to play at championship level, and just prepare for all the things you're going to see. It doesn't matter if it's Boston College or Pitt or the next game in front of you. You got to work on everything so you're ready for every situation. I think the most impressive thing about my team this year has been the role acceptance. Everyone's done what they're best at. They play to their strengths, stay away from their weaknesses. They're accepting of each other. There's nobody on the court trying to prove to me they can do something that I don't think they can do or their role allows. They understand that to go places, they got to do it together. Can't do it alone. They need each other. You know, we made an incredible jump this year, especially on the offensive and defensive end. I think Ken Palm, we're 29th in the country in offensive efficiency, 7th in effective field goal percentage, 3rd in 2-point field goal percentage in the country. But it's the players. You know, Isaiah Musius is the heart and soul of the team. You cut him open, he bleeds black and gold. He's the guy on the team that I can coach the hardest. He's got an unbelievable commitment to his role. He does whatever it takes to win. I think he's one of the most improved players in the league. I nominated him for that. I think Davian Williamson has that quiet toughness, gets better every game, every year. I can coach him tough. He cares about winning. He had all league numbers. I nominated him for all league. He's not afraid to get outside his comfort zone. And listen, you know, Davian could have stayed at East Tennessee State and been the SoCon Player of the Year, no question. But he decided to come here and help change the narrative of his hometown institution, Wake Forest. And I think he should be commended for that. Dallas Walton, you know, Wake Forest is a perfect fit for Dallas on and off the court. He's got something to prove on the court. He's done that. He stepped to the forefront as a leader. You know, team looks up to him. He anchors our defense, our half-court offense. He's worked hard to be an effective three-point shooter. And I nominated him for all defensive team. And the last guy, Hadim C. He's got an infectious personality, vocal leader on the court, always talking, good and bad. Contagious competitive spirit, elite, and I mean elite pick and roll defender. I consider him our 6th starter, allows us to go to the big lineup. His impact's way beyond the stat sheet, and I nominated him for 6th man of the year. And so, you know, a lot has been accomplished. We talked a lot about respect, regaining respect, and respect is given. It's not given, it's earned. I'm sorry, not given, it's earned. But you also have to be consistent year in and year out. And that's what we're looking for now is consistency in postseason play, because it's March Madness or it's March Sadness. And I think that's the point that we're at. And I appreciate you listening to me ramble for what, 10 minutes here probably? Yep, 7. And I'll open it up to questions.
Steve, I wanted to ask you earlier in the year, you mentioned we are who we are. Is that even more important to be that when you get to tournament play? Because, you know, coaches, they don't want to change things once they get in a tournament. Is that even more important for you guys?
Oh, definitely. Identity is so important. Knowing who you are, not trying to do things that you can't do because now we're in the tournament. You do that, you're going home. Okay. And so the best teams play and practice to their identity. And we've done a really good job of that up until this point until today. And we'll fix it tomorrow. I promise you that. I think that those are the successful teams in the tournament. Now, you know, you got to be playing at a high level. You got to be playing a lot of confidence. You got to have a couple guys maybe step up. I've been through that before where, you know, a couple guys that really just started playing at a really high level. That helps. We got guys that are capable of that. Obviously, besides the obvious guys, you know, Damari could really help us shooting the ball. You know, Cameron can help us defending. There's lots of ways to help the team. And that's the way it's got to be now, John. It's got to be all hands on deck.
Steve, what's been the timing of the contract extension? When did John first approach you with that? When did it kind of get decided?
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't really remember because I'm so immersed in it's probably a couple of weeks ago that, we initially talked about it. Then it was really not me. It was John and my agent, Jason Charney, and everybody that's involved, Dr. Wente and the John's leadership group. They all worked together, to get to this. And then, they put the ball in my court. This is where I want to be. I never said anything different, and I know you guys got to do your job and, but I'm not going to respond to rumors that don't make any sense to me, when it comes to other jobs or things like that. But I will say this, if your name's being mentioned for stuff like that, it's a good thing because it means you're winning. And I ain't going to put your name in there if you're losing, and so it's good for our program, but that was never my intention, looking elsewhere. I want to be here, and so I'm very appreciative of the effort that was made to extend my contract, and I'm looking forward to consistently being successful here on and off the court.
Steve,
I
you
wanted to ask-
mentioned.
Go ahead,
Steve,
David.
Steve, you mentioned Alondis having the finest season of any transfer in ACC history. There are 46 double-figure scorers in the league this season. 19 of them are transfers.
Oh, wow.
Do you think the volume of transfers in college basketball will continue at this rate, or do you think it will ebb a little bit once we've had a few years of the portal and the one-time exception?
That's a great question, David. I would think that it might ebb a little bit, but it might take some time, because what may happen is the guys will figure out that maybe it's not in your best interest to transfer, but to stay put. For every Alondis Williams, there's another story, or Jake LaRavia, that they didn't work for whatever reason, and maybe we're better off staying. But those numbers that you just said, I didn't know that. That's gonna probably tell kids that it's okay to leave. You can find a better place. But my personal feelings is, as we go back on this 5 years from now, 10 years from now, it'll be interesting to see who succeeded and who didn't, and who got scholarships. There's going to be people that did not, because the supply far outweighs the demand, in my opinion. And, I think Linus and Jake are great stories, but are they the typical story? We'll see, and I would prefer guys to be a little bit more patient, and stay and get older and get wiser and get better. But right now, in the next couple of years, I doubt it slows down, to be honest. I doubt it, but we'll see. And I think also too, we'll get back to normalcy here one of these days with eligibility, because, I have 3 seniors that my biggest recruits are my seniors. It's Davian and Isaiah Musius and Dallas Walton, because they could come back another year, and so we're all in this kind of state of flux right now with our roster. And so we'll see, but maybe in time it'll slow down, but I don't think it will in the near future.
Steve, I wanted to ask you about, you guys are winning games at a rate the program hasn't since 2010 and 2009, long times for Wake Forest. And that's a lot quicker maybe than a lot of people anticipated. Does that change anything about how you're building this program in terms of when you have success that quickly, that anything changes in that regard?
No, I don't think anything changes, because my strategy's been the same. It'll remain the same. I'll always recruit high school players first. That happens first. The transfer portal doesn't even beginning to happen until right now or later on. Recruiting is going on all the time with high school players. We've been on a lot of good freshmen, sophomore, juniors. And we'll be out in the spring, out in the summer, and the signing period will come in November. The difference is not settling, because you can sell your ass right out of your job. And so my opinion on high school players is go sign the very best players that you can get. Okay. But if you can't get them, well, don't go sign somebody that can't play. You need 13 ACC players. And I kept saying that over and over when I got it. We didn't have that. We have that now. Now we get to the spring, it's another phase. Okay. There's still some high school players left, and we're recruiting them. They're top players. There's unfortunately probably going to be some guys that lose their jobs and sign some players, and maybe they'll come back in the mix. There'll be some international players with those all the time. And then there's the transfer portal. That's the last piece. But I'm not going to wait all the way to the transfer portal every year. I didn't do that last year. See, I think a lot of the narrative is fair. I mean, they talk a lot about our transfers, but we have some really good freshmen. We signed Cameron Hildreth and Lucas Taylor and Robert McCray and Matthew Marsh. You know, Carter Witt's just a freshman. Damari Monsanto's just a 100-year freshman. You know, so I'm going to continue to build it, and each year is going to be different. It's a process, but it's all about having really good players. And I didn't wait. Listen, I didn't wait till the end last year and just start recruiting. I'm recruiting the whole time, you know, but I didn't have a chance my first year to really go through anything. We're in a pandemic. And so we had to make the changes. And I think we made the right changes. And, you know, some of those guys that left, you know, I'm really proud of, you know, Isaiah Wilkins just went to the NCAA tournament, was MVP of that league tournament, Big South. I'm so happy for him. You know, I'm happy for all of them. I think Jacoby's on. I think they shared the title or shared the Big Ten title, Wisconsin. You know, good for them. You know, and good for our guys, because we've come a long ways in a short amount of time. And I knew we were going to be good at the end of the summer. I didn't know how good, but I knew we weren't going to be 13th. And I get it. I'm not mad at anybody. I'm glad you picked me there. Keep picking me there, please. You know, but I could tell by the end of the summer that we had a good basketball team.
Steve, when did you find out that you'd won Coach of the Year? And I guess what were your initial thoughts as you presumably got that call? What was going through your mind when you found out the news?
I found out last night, you know, obviously, because, you know, we were going on television today, and I'm not going to go on television if I don't know I won the award, right? That'd look kind of dumb. You know, I said it today, and I'll try to keep composed. You know, I thought about my dad. You know, I lost my dad 3 years ago. He would be the happiest, more than me. I don't do it. I don't coach for this. I mean, it's nice. Don't get me wrong, but I'm more about the players and their experience and helping them turn their dreams into reality. But, you know, my parents, my mom's still alive, and, you know, I'm sure she's crying right now. You know, just to come where I came from a little small town in Iowa, you know, from that gravel road, those little highways to here, you know, I graduated with 32 people. It's an amazing journey. And so I thought about my dad, you know, and how he would feel. He could talk. I mean, I know you guys find it's hard to believe, but my dad could talk to this wall over here, and basically I'm my dad's child. Okay. And so, I really thought a lot about him and in the journey of how I got here, which I wouldn't trade for nothing. And then my former players, and they're all hitting me up, you know, and that's what it's all about, is those relationships, you know, and then the guys that you work with. You know, again, I don't get here without Brooks Savage and BJ Mackey and Jason Shea and Matt Woodley and Frank Davis and Antanas Kavalauskas and Joe Hughley, Christopher Forbes, Isaiah Tisdale, Mike Starkey, Mark Armour. I mean, it's a whole team of guys. And so I'm humbled. And my wife, she said something to me about it last night. She said, amazing. Did you think this would ever happen? I'm like, no, I didn't. I don't think, maybe some people do. I didn't. You know, I just, I'm definitely honored to get this award.
Hey, Coach, congrats on winning the award. In a tournament setting, I feel like it can be hard to not look ahead sometimes. And I imagine at East Tennessee State, it was a focus of you guys to take the Samfords and those guys seriously and not look ahead to UNCG like in the championship game. And, you know, you guys blew out Pitt and BC, and Miami's gotten your number twice. So how are you able to make sure you guys take it one game at a time? And did you learn anything from East Tennessee State that you can kind of carry over here?
Well, I think if you'd have been at practice today, you could have got that question answered really quick. You just couldn't have printed any of it. It wasn't very pretty. And a lot of it is because I do know what it takes to get to where we want to be. 4 of the 5 years that I was at East Tennessee State, we played for the championship. So, Christian, it's like this. First of all, you're right. You got to respect your opponent. And if you look past somebody, you're going to get embarrassed. And so we're not looking at Boston College or Pitt right now because we don't know who's going to win. And I'm not going to waste, hey, let's work on this for 10 minutes. It's basketball. So we're going to get better at what we do and how we guard things and how we get guarded. That's important right now. And we're going to respect the heck out of whoever we get in front of us. And then I guess it's Miami. I haven't even thought about it. All right. But I've been in that position before. The first time we went to the NCAA tournament, we lost a heartbreaker at home to a really good UNCG team. We lost over there at the end, and then we beat them in the championship. And so it can be done. And we'll cross that bridge when it comes. You know, so I learned a lot, at East Tennessee State. My first year, we got beaten in the championship by Chattanooga, the team that beat us 3 times. They had one of the best teams, mid-major teams I played against in the 5 years I was there. We won it. We went back again and lost to Greensboro this time. And then we lost to a really good Wofford team my 4th year that went and beat Seton Hall in the NCAA tournament. And then we ran the table my last year. We didn't even have a single-digit game. We were double digits the whole way through. And so I will draw on that experience for sure as we move forward.
Steve, this practice today that went so poorly, is that a rest versus rust thing, or was it just a off day?
Mindset. I mean, yeah, we're beat up a little bit, guys. I'm not going to, talk a lot about that or at all, but that had nothing to do with it. We haven't really gone live. I mean, we've gone hard, but we haven't banged on each other since NC State, No, it's mindset, preparation. Now, we went at 10 a.m. I'm not going to make no excuses. But, typically 10 a.m. today, we practice. We're in class, but on spring break, I think some guys must have woke up about 9:30, and they practice like it. And I think they thought that I was just being a hard ass, and I wasn't. And I've told them I was very disappointed. Just like when my dad would look at me and tell me he's disappointed, that would hurt my feelings. And that's how I told them, all of them, ashamed of them today. It'll change tomorrow. They're good guys. But no, I think it's more, anything is just mindset coming in there today. And here's the other thing, handle success. We didn't win the league. Okay, one guy got an award, I got an award. So what? Move on. Jake got second team. We got a lot left to accomplish. And if we don't play, then you're going to be looking back on it like, man, why did I do that? No regrets.
Anything else for Coach, guys?
Yeah, if you don't mind, I'd like to jump in. Coach, you talk about you like the rhythm of everything, basketball being a rhythm game. So how do you get these guys back into rhythm after the 10 a.m. practice that didn't go so well? And I mean, how do you kind of snap? You say it's going to get better tomorrow. So is it on you? Is it on them? I mean, where does it come from?
Hey, it's on them. I'm not playing. I'm going to be there. They know that about me. There's only a couple promises I make in recruiting. And one of them is I'm going to give them my best every day in practice. Okay. Like this thing right here. I never have ever taken this in the gym in my life and as a head coach, because I am 100% focused on that practice. Okay. And so that's hard for them sometimes because I am on point and there's 100% accountability. And so it's not, hey, listen, we've had bad practices. Okay. And I told them, I'm going to tell on you guys today. Like I'm a tattletale today because I'm not happy, and we're better than that, And so listen, we got all kinds of leadership on the team, and I know they know it, and so I'm not worried about it because I know tomorrow will be what we need it to be. And we got till Wednesday to play, but it's not acceptable today. It's not this wasn't be acceptable in August, fellas, or June or October. Nothing's changed. It is what it is. You got to do what you got to do to get the things you want. And how the mindset today wasn't what it needed to be at this level. And they know it.
The season that the regular season you guys put together, obviously solid and the 5 seed and all those things.
Mm-hmm.
You came into a situation when you started at Wake with a lot of guys leaving the program and you had to rebuild things and all that. Do you think that is one season enough to stop the defections and also put Wake as a landing spot for guys that are thinking about the portal or, that sort of thing? I mean, where do you think that puts you guys now in that target search?
That's a great question. They're all great questions, guys. I'm glad you asked that. I think that postseason awards, the success of Alondis and Jake, they're all nice. We beat some good teams, beat Carolina, won at Virginia Tech, on and on, won at Virginia, Syracuse. That doesn't matter in recruiting. And I know people are like, what do you mean? Kids don't make decisions based on that kind of stuff. Okay. I had a Alondis type transfer in my first year at East Tennessee State, Geelong Gwynn. Averaged 3 points a game at Cincinnati, averaged 19 for me. Led us to the championship. Did I get every transfer the next year? No. Okay. That stuff helps. It helps the narrative. It helps me show them film, right, Mike? It helps me say, hey, he did this and this and this. But really, reality is in recruiting, the number one thing is playing time and opportunity because they're all about themselves, and which rightfully so. Then it's relationship with the decision maker. Okay. And then nowadays there's financial, there's name, image, and likeness, there's cost of attendance. There's that perceived path to the NBA. Can this guy get me where I want to be? Distance is important to high school players. Okay. My experience has been if they're a really good player and they got a really good option, their friends and family can see them play, they're going to do it. And then, for young kids, it's just how popular is my decision on social media and with my peers. These are all things you got to consider now when you get into recruiting. Okay. And then there's the whole thing. And this is kind of what we're going to see. Like, when I went to Wichita State, I asked Greg Marshall, he just came off the Final Four, and I said to him, I knew the answer. He didn't want to hear the answer. I said, do you think recruiting is going to change because we went to the Final Four? Do you think we could get a McDonald's All-American and beat Duke and North Carolina for a recruit? He said, I think we can. I said, well, we don't have any chance. He said, what do you mean? I said, kids go for the name on the jersey. It's not going to change. It's not going to change, but we just got to be who we are. And who we are is good enough. And that's what I do. I know who we are, and who we are is good enough. And so, yeah, we'll continue to take shots from the best players, like I just said. But I'm also going to be very aware of the fact that we're not going to be able just to sit here and say, okay, every transfer is going to want to come here because of what Alondis and Jake and Damari and Dallas and Hadim did. That's not true, because they all got their own individual agendas. And so, it's a fluid situation, right? And we're going to be on top of it, but we do have a good story now, right? A good story and a lot of good film, and that'll help.
And kind of on that same line, your extension also sends a message to kids thinking about Wake, saying, if this guy wants me, he's going to still be there when I get there.
That is true. And that's something that I tell kids all the time, that you have to ask that question. What is the stability of the coach or the program that's recruiting you? It's a fair question. Are you going to be there? Are you going to be playing for 2 or 3 head coaches? Some kids have gone through that, So yeah, I think that sends a really good signal to potential recruits. I do like the fact that I work at a private institution. I know for you FOIA guys, you know, that really probably bothers you, but I lived that life my entire life, and now I don't have to. And so as much as you hate it, I like it. So sorry to you.
Thanks, Coach.
You're welcome.
Anything else for Coach, guys? All right. Appreciate you, Coach.
All right, guys. See you in Brooklyn.
Alondis, did Austin Reeves or any of your old Oklahoma teammates or coaches congratulate you yet?
Yeah, you know, me, Austin, and Kerr, we always talk in the group chat all the time. So yeah, they had told me congrats, Kruger, Hartman. Yeah, they told me congratulations.
Alondis, just talk. I mean, what does it feel like to join the likes of Tim Duncan, Josh Howard, you know, the only other weight guys that have been named ACC Player of the Year, and for you to come here and get this award?
It means a lot, you know, like definitely, you know, you growing up and you looking up to like players like that, like Tim Duncan and Josh Howard and players like that, like they got a name like that. So being in that category and even being Player of the Year alone by itself is just really just a blessing to be. So it feels great.
Man, at what point in the season did this feel like it could become a reality? Like, was it December or January, or was it even earlier than that you really felt like you could be the best player in the league?
Start of the season, you know, like I just needed a feel of the game, and you know, like everybody gonna think highly of themselves, you know. So I just seen that what Forbes was doing, like giving me confidence and letting me get the opportunity to be myself and let me have that freedom. And then after that, I just knew that, like, yeah, I could be the best player in the league and do what I'm doing and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Forbes just said that you guys were kind of kindred spirits. I know we kind of talked to you last week about this, but just how close a relationship do you have with Coach Forbes in just 1 year with him?
It's real tight. Like it felt like I've been knowing him for years, you know, like, and like I say all the time, like it's just that JUCO connection, you know, like we realize who hardworking and who's genuine for real and who is like honest and all that stuff like that. So we see everything other than like just basketball. So, you know, he cool, I'm a cool person. He's a goofy person, I'm a goofy person. So it just match up real good. So it's a good bond between me and him.
What was your reaction to seeing him get Coach of the Year, but also have a contract extension? Like, you know, to be here for a long time. I mean, he's had a pretty good day by himself, not just for what you won and Jake being all ACC.
Just going back to him just being a JUCO coach, you know, like me being a JUCO player, him being a JUCO coach, and just coming from that type of, you know, conference and level, you know, and then coming to the ACC, and being able to like win an award like that with other good, you know, Hall of Fame coaches. And I know last year didn't go as planned and go as well as he wanted it to be, but you know, him being on us every day in practice and seeing how much he cares about this game, just like us as players, it was just great seeing him win that and seeing what he been putting into this program to, you know, turn it around.
Alondis, you mentioned the JUCO experience a couple times already. Do you still keep up with your junior college coach at Triton, Steve Christensen? And if so, what kind of feedback has he given you through the season and in the last 24 hours?
Yeah, I talk to him a lot. We real close, you know. He close to my family, so him and my family always talk a lot too. He was in this process of me coming here too, so you know, me and him is real close. And you know, he at Northern Illinois now coaching, and they didn't do that good, but like I'm proud of him. Stepping up into a next level, coming from a JUCO and then going to a D1 like that. So he ain't texted me yet, but I know he proud of me. I know he got he got stuff going on too, but I know he proud of me. Happy, and because I'm one of his first players to bring a championship to the junior college for him, and so I know he real happy.
On a slightly negative note, Alondis, what went wrong at practice today? Coach Forbes kind of didn't seem too happy about it.
Yeah, he was yelling at us all day today. I don't blame him though. Like we ain't had that much of a good practice today. It's gonna pick up. This is a good group of players. They know when they doing wrong. There's a lot of players that don't know when they doing wrong, but our team, we know when we doing wrong, and we're gonna pick it up so he won't look like that again. Because it's kind of funny seeing him just be yelling and doing that, screaming and stuff, just going around moving, but you don't want to see your coach mad all the time. You want to see him happy, smile, and being goofy again. So, yeah.
Alondis, congratulations on the award. I'm curious to know, what was the most difficult aspect of your journey that makes winning this award so gratifying?
Appreciate you for, saying that, and really just blocking out the noise and hearing what the negativity of what people saying about you and saying that you don't really deserve the reward and stuff like that. So I'm gonna say that's really like the only challenge, and really just keeping your team on the same page, because when you're doing things like that, some people on your team might get jealous and things might not go as well. And me being a person that I am, being a people's person, being a cool person, like, it's just me bringing my team together, showing that we ain't got to hate on each other. We all got each other, So that was probably like the only two difficult things to this process.
Does that come easier for you because you share the ball so much and you're such a willing passer?
Yeah, I feel like it's more easier on me because they feel like they feel like I believe in them, so they ain't got no choice but to believe in me too, and I ain't a selfish player, and everybody love a non-selfish player.
Did you watch the Syracuse game on Saturday to see that Buddy was going to pass you for the scoring lead?
No, I ain't watching, but I was watching the box scores, and because I kind of forgot that he was playing like earlier. So I was just watching the box score, and I had seen he had like 23, 26. I was like, dang, come on, man, don't do it to me, don't do it to me. And then I had left, and then I came back. It was probably like a couple seconds left. And then I ended up seeing that he had shot a free throw, and I was like, he got it. He got it, but I ain't see it though.
Alondis, how ready are you to hit the floor in Brooklyn on Wednesday?
I'm ready. I wish we was playing tomorrow, but I'm ready. I'm ready to show people why they chose me to be the player of the year, and I'm just ready to prove people that we are a good team and we're better than a fifth seed. But always grateful for being in a good position like this.
Hey, Alondis, Mike Solarte, Spectrum News 1. Congratulations to you. This is probably a first, but you're actually speaking to somebody who was once an employee of Triton College. So I remember River Grove quite well. You talked about your journey to getting to the ACC, being ACC Player of the Year. You are a people person, but has there been maybe a bit of a chip on your shoulder to show the doubters and show the haters, you guys had me all wrong?
Yeah, I always just had that chip on my shoulder, like since high school, coming out of high school, people just always just told you like, oh, you ain't gonna be nothing, you ain't gonna make it, you a great player, but things that I did in high school, grade wise, like you ain't gonna make it far because of grades and this and that, like just hearing things like that and hearing people want to see you fail. it's just wonderful to just see you doing positive things and seeing you do the things that they said that you couldn't do. So it's great.
And do you still have that chip on your shoulder heading into Brooklyn as the 5 seed because you feel you guys are better than a 5 seed?
Yeah, we for sure got a chip on our shoulder because we feel like you said, we better than a 5 seed. Like we better than what we actually like gave y'all, and that's just another opportunity and a bigger stage to show y'all what we can do.
Thanks. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Anything else for Alondis, guys? Awesome. Thanks for the time, Alondis. We appreciate you.
Thank you.